It's either a busy night or an intimate night.
Yeah.
Both are good.
Yep. Both. I enjoy both kinds. All right. Welcome everybody. So, uh, Madrid Museums. I want to do a bonus salon this week. I've got had one planned for Sunday for the Musée d'Orsay. And I hope you guys will come. And Amy, I know you're a big fan of the Musée d'Orsay. And but I want to do a bonus one because I just booked a trip to Madrid, and this is part of like getting familiar with the artworks and the art museums in Madrid. And if anybody happens to be in Madrid last week of March, I'm going there, solo trip, business trip, just art museums. And if you want to meet me in an art museum, and have coffee afterwards and share art, please do. I'm going to be doing another big European trip beginning of June. And I'm going to send out the same kind of invitation if anybody wants to show up to Europe and meet me at an art museum. That'll be great. But I want to focus on the non-major art museum in Madrid. And surprisingly, there are a lot of secondary art museums. And so I want to look at some of those, and boy, did I find a lot of great artworks. So I'll do that. First, I got a couple quick little announcements in case you missed any. If you would like to donate to helping me travel across the world and do research and find more artworks to supplement the Touching the Art library with, you can donate here. Feel free to just hang around. I just love having your presence. But if you have the means and you wish to, Venmo, PayPal, and I'll throw a PayPal link in the chat if that's more your jam. And so let me do that here. And so that out of the way, just a couple more. Yeah. Oh, Lenny.
Well, question on the solicitation side of things. Do you still have any books for sale as well?
I am officially out of stories and paint. I'm looking at doing another print run of maybe soft cover. I'm investigating that, and we'll see. I've got copies of Touching the Art, and I've got the ebook is available for stories and paint. So that's there.
Well, and Touching the Arts, the smaller, cheaper option.
Yes,
too,
the
right?
smaller, cheaper alternative, the one that goes behind the scenes, gets the ideas and the principles. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Hey, Molly, welcome. Okay, so first, I think I made this announcement at the last salon, a new course starting next week. So this is formal course on the most dramatic artists that I know of, the most dramatic storytellers, and focusing on 3 artists: John Everett Millay, John W. Waterhouse, and Jean-Léon Gérôme. You probably might not have even heard of these artists, but you would recognize them if you've taken a look at a lot of the art that I have. And so let's see. Oh, do I have a link to that? If you want a link to that, I don't have it handy, let me know, and I'll grab it for you a little bit later after we wrap things up. But I just want to give you a heads up on that, if that is something, a more formal course. Also, there's a coupon code that I'm pretty sure is still good. Discount code Luke50, and 50% off for the first 10 people that use it. And I think it's still available. So if you want that, if you want the link to that, let me know if you don't have it already. Okay.
Wait, Michelangelo's going to show up?
Yeah, Michelangelo's going to show up because well, one of the main things, just to give you a little bit of a heads up, there's going to be 2 types of drama that are going to be at the outset: inner drama and melodrama. So Bernini's David is the one that is attacking Goliath, and Michelangelo's David is the one that's trying to figure out whether or not he's going to do it. So looking at the nature of drama, and if you like literature, this might be a good crossover. Next EuroSlaon is on Sunday, February 26th at 5 p.m. and go for about an hour. And that will be a big one. And I might even do 2 of those, but I'll definitely have one coming up. Rijksmuseum is going to be a big one. Also, if you're interested in Vermeer and you're interested in traveling, put March 6th on your calendar, because that is the day that the Rijksmuseum's epic exhibition of Vermeer, the greatest exhibition of Vermeer works that the history of the world has ever produced. 28 of his 37 works are on display. That's the day when they're going to try to release new times, because it's been completely sold out for almost since it was offered up. So March 6th is when they're going to offer up new times for that. And I'm going to be like, at a Rolling Stones concert ticket purchase, trying to camp out to, I guess, why did I pick Rolling Stones? I like them. Touching the art app. So a few updates here. I'm experimenting with different ways of delivering art and delivering the weekly artwork. I'm going to try this week on Saturday to deliver the new artwork, and not have it spread out over the week. I'll see how that works. If you're interacting with the app and you have suggestions for how you are interacting with it and when you enjoy receiving art or how you use it, I'm all ears. There's going to be a new set of updates that are going to try to make it more social friendly. So there's like a like button and a little bit easier way to navigate through comments and so forth. And so far we've got 5 new artworks up. And right now it's free till March 1st, but I'm very likely going to extend that because I still feel like it's in the evolutionary phase. So yeah, feedback on the app, any of that will be absolutely wonderful. There's a comment raffle too. The next drawing is going to be Sunday. Comment up to 5 times, and you're putting the raffle for a prize package. All that you see here. Now, Prado Museums, Madrid Museums. I mean, I could just say Prado because you could just go to Madrid and just spend your whole time at the Prado. It's like the Louvre. I think it's as big as a Louvre in terms of the amount of artworks that's there. Molly, thanks for that comment on the app there. But there's a lot more. And I've got a list here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other art museums. And that's not an exhaustive list of the Madrid museums. And I've been through the websites of all of them. And I've got my techniques for searching for the art that I might like. And I've got certain parameters. I might share a couple of those. But there are a couple of museums that are going to dominate. And I'll share which ones I'm most excited about seeing. And if you're ever to go to Madrid, this is where I try to convince you to go with me too. Last salon was the Prado, and we focused on a few artworks at the Prado. And if you don't have the Zoom recording link to that, let me know, and I can share with you some that Zoom recording link, and you can check it out. And we spent time with grand narrative paintings, huge narrative paintings, and beautiful women. It was a little bit Valentine's Day-ish. And then this one was not part of the salon, didn't make our in-depth discussion, but he is on the app if you want to check him out. And I recently posted the my reading and the background story of this one. And so here I'll put the link in the chat for if you want to go directly and take a look at that. Okay. So that's the Prado, and I might do so much more. So the other museums, I am going to butcher pronunciation of these, and I'm just going to tell you very briefly a couple thoughts. The Thyssen-Bornemisza Museum, that's the main one that I'm looking forward to after the Prado, by far. The Sorolla Museum, dedicated to the artist Joaquin Sorolla in his house. I'm so excited about this because there's so much of his work, and I like his work. The Reina Sofia Museum. This is the museum dedicated to 20th century art. which I'm not as excited about going to see, but I will go. The Museo Lazzaro Galdiano, a little bit smaller museum that ranges from everything. There's a National Museum of Romanticism, which wasn't as exciting as I was hoping for it to be, but I'm still going to check it out. Sorolla Museum, a lot of religious art and Spanish art, and Sorolla looks like it's dominating there. And then one more, the San Fernando Royal Academy of Fine Arts, which I haven't looked into yet, but it's been suggested to me, and that's where Goya. I think there's a lot of Goya paintings there. So the Reina Sofia Museum. This is considered one of the major museums in Europe. I'm not going to have any artworks from this museum. The main famous artwork is the Picasso Guernica painting, and I just love this painting, just to give you a sense of seeing these artworks on your tiny little screen with me. I hope you're using the biggest screen you can. Are so different than seeing them in person. You can see how vast that Picasso Guernica is. Hi, Narendra. Welcome. Now, this is a glimpse of the Thyssen-Bornemisza Museum, and this one caught me really by surprise. It is filled with American art. It is filled with French art. It is considered, I think, one of the biggest, best private collections in the world. And there's a lot going on here, and this is where I drew most of the artwork. So if I were in Madrid, I would say, let's go to this museum for a tour. And the Sorolla Museum. And the Sorolla Museum is beautiful because it's got so many of Sorolla's artworks. Sorolla is like the impressionist painter of Spain. A little bit, I might call him like John Singer Sargent of Spain, and that would be the second place after the Thyssen-Bornemisza Museum I go to, and it's in his home, so it's a beautiful home. You get to see a lot there. All right. Before I share with you the artworks I picked out for this evening, I'm going to share with you the artworks that didn't make it. And then I'll show you, I think I've got six artworks up for your consideration. All right, so what didn't make it? From the Thyssen-Bornemisza Museum. So this one, I absolutely adore this one. And then when I click on it, it says not on display. And one of the things I've tried to keep to is making sure that the artworks that I'm picking are on display. Usually if they are on display, they're there a lot of times. I have no idea who the artist is. I'd never heard of this artist before. And I can do a quick search and get that to you, because I enjoyed. There are 3 artworks of his at the museum that are on display. It's a British artist, British 19th century artist. But yes, haunting. And I just love the way that she's stopped from going to the house and is staring up at the moon. Oh man. Okay, so I'm not even.
Quick comment on this.
Yeah,
one.
Pooja. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have always wondered this. When we have a lot of snow, and I look outside my deck, there is the evening, the twilight actually looks like midday, like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, right? It's because of some kind of reflection of the moon.
Yeah.
And I've noticed it always has to be cloudy.
Yeah.
So this is exactly this painting is exactly depicting that moon reflected by ground.
It's so lit up
by
because
clouds.
of the clouds and the snow reflecting the light all over the place. Yeah, that's a great observation. Okay, so that one didn't make it. Another one that's not going to make it, and this is where I'm going to tell you that there are a lot of American artists. This one might look familiar to you. It's by the painter Thomas Cole, and this is almost a predecessor to one that's in Stories in Paint on the app. This one. Let's go back between the two. And I never knew that this painting by one of my favorite painters, Thomas Cole, ever existed. And this was one of the things I loved about this museum, discovering these. And so this one's on the app. And if you want to, do I have it? Yeah, I do. Here, I'll put the link to this one in the chat if you're interested in spending some time with this one. Okay, so I'm not going to do that one. Now, the Sorolla Museum, yeah, very heaven hellish. Absolutely, Landon. At the Sorolla Museum, there is a lot there that is, I think, the same, kind of similar. You can kind of get a glimpse at some of these. There are a lot of women in white at the beach and more women in white at the beach. So there are a lot of mood setting artworks, but I've picked a couple of them that were kind of atypical that I will share. So let's do this. I've got 6 artworks. I invite you to put your initial title in the chat, and we'll do this pretty quickly. And I'm hoping to spend time with 3 of the 6 that I've got picked out for you. And maybe I'll get some help from you. Hi, Kate. Welcome. So, are you ready? Let's begin. Here's the first one. This might look familiar. What's your quick title for this one? Okay, Molly, you have lighting with a smile. Landon, you have checking in. So let's see. That might be you, Robert. It looks like you sent me a direct message. If you want to make that to everybody, then everybody will be able to see it. And you had a lover has arrived. Oh, that's you, Amy. A lover has arrived. And then Robert, you have, you are here. And Pete, you have a night visitor has arrived. And Pooja and the glow of candlelight. Okay. Keep that one in mind. Here's the next one. I'm very curious to see how you react to this one. Very curious. It's not a typical one. What's your quick title, your initial title for this one? Oh man, just the first words that come to mind. Okay, roger that, Pete. Switching to iPhone. Okay, let's see. So, Landon, just breaking hearts. Just to start with, broken dreams. Okay. Pete, abandoned rowboat. Robert, well-worn many adventures. Narendra, waiting at the shore of a vastness. Waiting at the shore of a vastness. Amy, you have coming back for the boat. Interesting, Amy. And Molly, you have left behind. Okay, great. And the next one, here it is. What's your initial title for this one? Okay, keep typing if you're still typing. Let's see what we have. We have Molly, you have lean in. I can imagine lots of scenes like this happening at your home, Molly. Landon, you have tutelage. Amy, you have viewing the experiment. Peter, you have, oh, Peter, you prefer Peter or Pete? I think I heard. Oh, I think I saw mouth
Pete.
Pete.
Yeah, Pete's fine.
Okay, roger that. You have Chemical Hopes. Narendra, struck and intense anticipation. Robert, overseeing the work. Hi, Shannon. Welcome. And Shannon, you have Observation. Okay. Oh, and Pete, I'll go ahead and mute you just for the moment in case there's background noise. And then, oh, Pooja, did you have something you want to share? I saw you unmuted if there's anything you want to share. Okay, next one. Roger that. All right. Oh, I see you there, Shannon. Hey. Number 5, I believe. Here it is. What's your title for this one? Oh, this is number 4, actually. Okay, keep typing, keep typing. Let me go through these. All right, Shannon, you have Lady in Black. Why is she in black? Robert, you have After the Heartbreak. Landon, you're just recycling old titles. Broken Dreams. Molly, you have Lady in Dismay. And Amy, you have A Book Lullaby. And Amy, just heads up in case you didn't hear me. You're sending me the direct messages, so I don't think it's showing up for everybody else. If you want to check on the chat, you can
Thanks,
adjust.
Luke.
You bet.
Got it.
And then let's see, Pete, you have Too Tired. All right, Rob, you say Rest. Hi, Rob. Interesting. So we're going in 2 different little directions here. Is it sadness or is it rest? And Narendra, you have Self-Absorbed with sad and yet intense looking within. Oh, wow. A whole psychological portrait. All right, we got 2 more. Here's the next one. And what's your title for this one? Okay, keep typing. And let's see. Landon, you have The Rescue. We could do Broken Dreams again if you want. Peter, you have Abandoned. Oh, Pete, you have Abandoned Ship. Amy, The Rescue. No copying, Amy. Narendra, you have Battling Odds. Molly, Rescue. Pooja, Help Coming. Robert, Mission Accepted. Rob also said Abandoned Ship. Shannon, Deadliest Catch. You're making me think of that TV show. Yes, I watched a few episodes of Deadliest Catch. That's the one where they're doing crabs, right? So, yeah. Let's see. And high five to all the rescuers. All right. Okay, good. Humor is a good way to overcome a bad day, I think. And then I've got one more for you. One more. Here it is. What's your title for this one? All right, keep typing. Shannon, you have Peace. And my follow-up question to you, Shannon, to further your own contemplation is, what do you see that makes you say peace? And Amy, you have the newborn. And Robert, a moment's grace. I like that word, grace. I wish it was more part of my vocabulary, more part of my subconscious. Landon, safe and sound. You win with alliteration. Rob, you have firstborn. Pete, never out of my sight. Pooja, you come in, I guess, first place now. Soft sleep. Narendra, peaceful slumber and satisfaction of a mother. Okay. Room for love, says Molly and Robert. All right, double points for Robert. 5 points to House Nacer. Okay. Goodness gracious. All right. So here are the artworks. I'm going to go back through them one more time, and then we will pretend to vote for the one that we're going to spend more time with. We had this one. Looking out the window, fellas coming. We had this one. Broken dreams. The third one here. Lean in. The tutorial. This one, either lullaby at rest or brokenhearted. Abandoned ship or rescue. And firstborn or peace or moment of grace. Okay, I'm going to ascribe numbers to each of these. And I want to change up the voting here a little bit. I have decided to allow you to vote for 2, if you so wish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Which of these 2 look most intriguing to you? Yeah, we're a little bit smaller group, so we can have 2 votes. We can have 2 votes if we're a little bit smaller group. All right. So Robert 2 and 6, Molly 1 and 5. That's interesting, Robert. You're going for 6, huh? Pooja 5 and 6. Landon 6 and 6. This is fascinating. Yeah, what's this group? It's crazy. You're going for the still life painting? Why are you going for the still life painting? Okay, Narendra 2 and 6, Peter 1 and 3, Amy 4 and 6, Rob 4 and 6. Okay, there are people on the lights. Yeah, but it's like a landscape where you have people in it. It's still a landscape because the people are tiny. Shannon, you have 2 and 3. Okay, well, guess what? I thought I was going to have to pull some teeth, but it doesn't look like it, because you know which one we're going to do first? This one. This one. I'm going to give you, so right now it's 8:30 Eastern time, 8:33 Eastern time. I'm going to try to fit in 3. And so I'm going to give you 1 minute on your own. I'll have several close-ups here. Feel free to write anything out, either in the chat or on a piece of paper there. And then afterwards, I will ask if anybody would like to share their reading. And then I'll ask a series of questions for this painting. And we'll see where we go with it. Okay. And then Robert, you're thinking that boat in the background adds so much. It's intriguing. Okay, so 1 minute. I'm shutting myself off, and I'm got close-ups for you. All right. About you to find a stopping point? No, that was quick. I bet you could go for a lot more here. And first of all, I like talking, but I like hearing other people talk too. So if anybody would like to read what they have out loud, I'll invite that first. Narendra, I see your hand.
Yeah.
And Narendra. And then what I invite everybody else to do as you're listening, here's what I invite you to do. I invite you to pick out your highlights of what you hear. The things that are observations that you maybe didn't notice, or the words or the phrases that help enhance your appreciation for this scene. All right, Narendra, that's all yours.
Okay. So the first thing that struck me was that the boat is very big. It's huge. It's like looking at you to the viewer. So, and the real fine details of 4 people are far into the background. So obviously the whole boat is looking at you, and it's an old boat. And I don't know, the angle at which it is, it seems like it is abandoned, or it is lonely, or it is not part of the sea of life. I mean, it's like it is at the shore, and if you notice the far there are 4 people, so there is a kind of group, and the 4 people are not that. It's not a celebration; they're just there, kind of like. I was not able to see the details very perfectly, but they're very beautiful details there. The 4 people were just sitting there, and it's kind of foggy, and this is very sharp. The old boat is very sharp, dominating and giving a feeling, very strange that a boat can give a feeling of being abandoned or being alone. Literally, not a man. It's not a man who's standing and wondering. It's just a boat, and a boat is speaking. I think that's very striking.
All right, Narendra, thank you. So it sounds like a lot of what drew you is the boat is almost like a portrait of an abandoned person. That's maybe even looking at you in such sharp detail while everything in the background is misty, and the folks in the background kind of, maybe there's no great celebration. It kind of maybe blend in back there to the mist. Thank you, Narendra. Would anyone else like to read what they've put down? Molly, go ahead. And Narendra, I'll
Sure.
mute you for the moment.
A small rowboat in the foreground sits molding on the bank of a lake in summer. Underneath it is the bare earth that it used to sit on over the winter. It's recently been moved off its wooden structure. There's a word for it. I don't know what it is. But apparently it wasn't found seaworthy, or maybe it was too heavy to move, because there are 4 people in the water in a similar boat. The day is foggy but brightly lit, and the daisies and grasses on the shoreline bend in the gentle breeze.
Okay. Molly, you're looking at this boat as an object, an abandoned object, that the mold and the fact that it's probably been lying there all winter, and it doesn't look seaworthy. And then you end with the gentle breeze and the flowers, making me think of, like, I don't know, what's that poem about World War I?
Flanders Field.
And the poppies in Flanders Field.
Yeah. It's almost like a grave for the boat.
Man. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually kind of similar size, and that's
To a
what the
grave,
earth
that's
would
true.
look like if you buried a body there and then filled it back in. That's true.
Okay.
I hadn't thought of that.
Okay. All right. Robert, I see your hand. Robert, would you like to share what you have?
Yeah. Well, the picture doesn't look like an inanimate object because of the flowers and because of the mold and because of the water and the waves moving. This does not look like an inanimate object. So what I wrote, the boat is well worn, and despite the wear and discoloration, it's not clear that it's damaged or abandoned, though the one slat of wood on the ground hints it might be. Are the people in the other boat rescuers and rescued? Or are they coming to retrieve this one after leaving it for some reason? What adventures has this small boat seen? Buckets of fish caught? travelers conveyed, islands discovered, storms fought, countless departures and returns across how many years? Whatever its recent history, like a life well lived, this is a boat well worn.
So Robert, it sounds like you're focusing on, it's an old boat, but the experiences that make up the oldness, that it's been used, it's gone on adventures, and that's a part of why it is the way it is. It's not just that it's been abandoned, it's just it's had its time.
Yes, and it may not be done yet.
And it may not be done yet. The folks in the back might be coming back for it. Yeah, Robert.
Okay, it says sounds personal. It is very personal.
Thanks, Robert. It has scars to show. That's a good way of putting it, Molly. And Shannon, you have, there's even a rock headstone, which I imagine you're describing as this right here. And then let's see. Shannon, would you like to, I see what you put down. You said Northern Alaska, old fishing ground used for centuries to stock up on fish for the winter. Oh, so you're looking at the whole setting here and thinking of this place that might be, it's in the north, it's kind of out of the way. This is not Miami, right? Was there anything else you'd like to share, Shannon?
Yeah, that was Rob's comment. So
oh, was it Rob? Yeah, Rob, anything more you'd like to share?
So like I watched a lot of shows on Netflix where they're in Alaska trying to survive, and a lot of them, what they would do is they would leave these supplies behind in locations that were known to be successful fishing spots. And to me, it looks like there's already supplies there. So then a group of them comes, then they divide into two groups, and then they go out and catch as many fish as they can to stock up before the winter comes. I'm seeing the grass kind of is like not like overgrown or anything like that, so it makes me feel like winter's on its way, and that's what they're trying to do, is stock up on food before winter comes.
Okay, so this might be a stored boat for fishermen to come to in case of winter emergencies, so that they can find it somewhere out there that they can use.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Rob. And then let's see, Pete, would you like to share what you have? Oh, you're muted still. You're muted still.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to add in the background the second rowboat containing about 4 passengers. I thought maybe they were children. I don't have any other insight. I just had that impression from, I don't know, their size or vulnerability or something. That's it.
Okay, so you're looking at them and you're thinking, you're asking who might they be and whether they could be children. I was wondering too, I was thinking to myself, are they out fishing, or are they out kind of for a bit of a pleasure little boat ride? And I think I'm landing on the second option, because it looks like only one person is rowing, and maybe there's different colors, red and blue, and hats. Oh, I think I just noticed something else. No, it's the reverse. I was looking at the coloring here. Maybe 2 girls, 2 boys. There's blue and then there's white. And then on this boat, it looks like light and then dark. I'm looking at the comments here a little bit. Let's see. Molly, I think the boat would have been turned over. Turned over the winter, since the mold at the bottom. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So it sounds like the big questions, and what to kind of summarize what we have so far, there's this boat here that looks old, maybe moldy, and maybe abandoned. It could possibly be something that has stores and is lodged there. And I think that's one question to look for clues for. Is it more abandoned, or is it something that is there that's going to be retrieved? All right. You want the title? The title, according to the painter Frederick Edwin Church, is The Abandoned Skiff. The Abandoned Skiff. So a skiff, I'm not quite sure what a skiff is. But I am kind of seeing a little bit of the abandonedness, the kind of angle at which it's sitting here with nothing to tie it down. Well, what does he know? And it's a smaller boat, but it looks large because it's so close, but it's a smaller boat. And it looks very similar to the one that's out there. Couple of things I want to draw from this. One, I don't know if many of you know, you might be familiar with the artist Frederick Edwin Church because he doesn't usually do things like this. He does things like this. He's the landscape painter that does huge landscapes. And if he does boats, it's a little tiny one in the distance over here. But here he is doing this abandoned boat, almost like ruins in a landscape. Now, when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking to myself, I'm not just looking at this boat, but I'm looking at maybe something more of a metaphor. And it seems like for several of you, noticing the other boat in the distance kind of made this painting a little bit more interesting. And for me too, because then it made me think there is a similar boat in use and this one is not being used. And it made me think of things like the passage of time. And it reminded me of this painting. That's in the app. Some of you might recognize this one, of this gentleman who's contemplating this stone, which is a grave site thousands of years old. And in these two, we have the passage of time on an epic scale, and then the passage of time on the scale of life. And it makes me think of something like my motorcycle that I still have, but I haven't used in a while. And like Robert was mentioning, it's a memory hole filled with all kinds of good times. But I haven't used it, and I don't think I will because it would need a lot of work.
Luke, did you say the one on the left is also church?
No, the one on the left is not church. The one on the left is not church. Yeah, no, good. Thanks for the one on the left is by Caspar David Friedrich, the one who's known for big metaphors in his landscapes. But I can imagine us contemplating this boat like we have been in a similar way that the scholar-looking figure is contemplating that grave site in the passage of time. So now that we've kind of got this perspective, I'm wondering what kind of personal questions to ask here. Maybe a good one. Container for memories. I like that. Maybe a good one is, what is something like this in your life, an object that has been with you for years that might contain memories that may not be the thing you use every day, but might be stored up in the attic, and maybe you see it occasionally. Maybe a quilt, a family quilt or something. You're not going to use that to bundle up at night, but maybe it's there as a memory. Alas, poor York, I knew him. Is that from Hamlet? Lots of Stairmasters, says Landon. and then it's, I think, like a couple of you've done, it's easy to anthropomorphize this boat, to see it as a reflection. I certainly have. Like, is this boat 43 years old? It might be. There's some things it's not going to be able to do. How much mold does it have? How much mold do I have on me? Yeah, Molly.
I just thought of something else, that it doesn't look like it was put away and meant to be abandoned or stored. It's just never been returned to. So it doesn't have a sense of finality like a grave site would. It has suggestions of that, but they didn't mean to abandon it. And if they leave it this way over the winter, it will completely be destroyed. So it's like this almost unintentional neglect implied in it.
Okay.
So there's not a finished, it's not stored in an attic.
I see.
It's just forgotten. They meant to come back to it that day. Maybe they will forget. Maybe they'll sail off and land somewhere else.
Is it like,
and no one will ever use it again, but it doesn't have a completed aspect to it. It's still waiting to be
so
used.
it's like taking the back roads in the country and driving through and then seeing like an abandoned old 1920s truck that's rusting there.
Yeah. Like someone just forgot to go
And
and
it's
get
never
it.
bothered to remove it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. 2 final questions. Do you have a final title for this painting based on what we've experienced together with it? And 2, do you have a favorite detail? So a final title, a favorite detail. Let's see. Is that were you raising your hand, Narendra? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Narendra.
I just want to say that what after discussing and after everybody talking, even Molly just mentioned it, her feeling like, and everybody else. What I felt was, first after seeing for so long, I felt there's a great focus on the sharpness of the boat, though it's abandoned, though it's old, and the rest is, as you said, passage of time and little foggy. But the whole focus is on the dignity. So it has a great dignity of that boat. So my title would be A Life Lived with Dignity. Because
A
the whole
life lived
focus,
with dignity.
just for
In
fun.
spite of the fact that it's kind of been put
Yes.
aside, we are
Yes, but
we are still invited to look very closely at all the intricate details.
Yes, and there's a feeling of beauty, and though it's old, and the rest are kind of subdued, and it's a vastness. There's a time. Then that's all I can.
I like that word vastness, and I like that Rob, you mentioned the fog as a detail, and I think the fog does contribute to that sense of vastness, just as
And the time.
Yeah,
also.
yeah, and the time.
Time,
It's like
space,
it's kind of
space,
foggy
time.
here too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the chat here. Thanks, Narendra. Shannon, you like the rock and flowers like a gravesite. Molly, fave detail, there's no ore on the old, right there. There's no ore. Landon, your final title is The Forgotten. Best detail has to be the contrast with the other boat. Pooja, how the abandoned boat prevents grass and weeds below. It's been there a while. Oh, yeah. Okay. Detail, Amy, the stray boat next to it, the story boat. Yeah. And then Shannon, Rob said it used to have, maybe it used to have a motor. And Landon, yeah, great point. Yeah, oars are useful. My favorite detail, I think, is a combination of what Molly and Robert said. Robert was pointing out the movement of the water in the back, and Molly was pointing out the slight breeze maybe in the flowers, so that there is this sense of movement, and maybe even of voices in the distance coming from that other boat. Yeah, go ahead real quick, Narendra.
Small point, which I wanted to mention, because people mention flowers. If you notice, the flowers are very beautiful, but even the flowers are in the background. They're not stressed. So there's life, there's movement, there's breeze, there's vastness, but this boat is focused. I mean, maybe I'm.
No, I completely agree. Where this is, one of the things I enjoy about, I mean, if we pass this boat on a walk around a lake, we wouldn't look at it. But here it's inviting us, because it's an artwork, it's inviting us to look at it more closely.
Yeah, that's a wonderful way of putting it. Like, yes, exactly. It's like giving it beauty.
The one word I love that you used was dignity.
Dignity. All right, and then Robert, some of the greatest still lifes are surprisingly unstill. Yep. Okay, well, that was surprising. We're at 8:55 p.m. Can you do one more? I was planning on 3, but thinking with dignity. Okay, so I'm gonna jump around a little bit here because I'm gonna go to the last one I had in store, and I'm gonna need some help with it because this is one I'm not quite sure what to make of, and this is one I'm picking. Here it is. Here it is. I'll give you 30 seconds just on your own, and I'll have a couple of close-ups. All right. If anybody would like to share any thoughts out loud first to start with, if you wrote something down or even briefly, or if you just want to share your observations out loud, I'll take those first. Okay, I'll read some things here in the chat. Landon, you still remember Room for Love from Molly, stressing the size of the bed and space to give the baby room, but also all the love pouring over the distance. I like that word pouring because it makes me think of the sheets of the bed pouring around. And then Robert, you said, I'm still thinking of moments, Grace. Quiet moments reflect the miracle of childbirth. All too many of the challenges of dealing with a newborn disrupt that feeling of wonder, but moments like this bring it right back. Okay, a quiet moment reflects the miracle of childbirth. So you're seeing a quiet moment. And then Robert, my follow-up question to you is, what especially is quiet? What do you see that is especially quiet in this scene? And Shannon, you've got, could take place in a wide variety of periods, but the walls suggest late 1900s. Yeah, so you're thinking about, okay, when is this taking place? Landon, the love is overflowing really. Narendra, you have some thoughts you want to share out loud? Go ahead, Narendra. Oh, you're still muted. You're muted. You're muted.
Something similar to what everybody said. If you notice, the faces are very small, and there's just a sense of, like the whole sheets are conveying a lot of, it's like very huge. The face are two small faces and very subtle expressions. The baby's very, very peacefully, like, just there, peacefully sleeping. And even the woman is kind of tired or whatever, but she's got this slight hint of very deep satisfaction and love. But the whole painting is white, and the faces have been made very small. So it gives a sense, not just of the bed, but it gives a sense of peace, quiet, whatever, infinitude, childbirth, that sense of beauty of moments. Somebody said the moments, Grace. So all that is conveyed by the white color, vast, flowing, cloud-like thing. I don't know, I'm talking.
Yeah, so right Narendra, so just to draw out some of the things you're pointing out, that kind of peace and grace, and I like how you're picking out some of the things that other people are saying. The white color seems to be a lot of what gives you that sense of that peace. Thanks, Narendra. I'm looking at some more here in the chat. Shannon, you got the bed is cloud-like, heavenly, surprising amount of space between mom and baby. They mirror each other, both covered up at the neck and facing each other. And there's a diagonal line of symmetry. Oh, between them? Is that what you're saying, Shannon? Okay, so a couple questions I have for everybody. Is this her bedroom? Or is this another room? And I'm asking that because it looks so plain. There are no decorations around. Maybe Shannon, you're thinking home birth. And that was the second question I was going to ask. Is this right after birth? Or is this some other moment where our mom is sleeping with the child? And if there are any parents out there who might be able to fill in a little bit more, that's one thing I'm curious about. So Landon, you got the amount?
Are,
Oh, go
are
ahead.
you referring to like watching your child sleep and breathe and making sure that they're still alive, sort of thing?
I'm curious about that. Yeah, what is the feeling after that? Because I've never had a child, never been a father. And so
Oh no, I slept right through my kid, you know, like, so I'm just conveying what other people have told me.
Oh, is that right? Okay, so yeah, is it a feeling of like I need reassurance because I'm not sure what's whether there's so much risk, or is it okay, now everything is calm and peaceful and I'm just enjoying the sight of this newborn?
Yeah, I don't get any sense of fear in this particular picture, so I don't think it's anything like that where it's like, oh, you know, is my baby okay?
Yeah.
It's hard to pick out. I mean, there seems, it's hard to pick out her face, but the sense is a sense of satisfaction and joy, and appreciation, not anxiety or fear.
Yeah, I would see her very differently if I were trying to communicate fear or anxiety in her face. Oh, okay. So, and Shannon, you said, oh, Shannon, you're seeing the cloud and maybe they both died in childbirth and they're on their way to heaven in a cloud. And then Rob says, Mom pulled the covers over herself. Is anyone else around? That's a great question, Rob. Is anyone else around? So I can see the covers pulled up here and I see a hand over here. And I think that might be a hand over here as well. But the covers are pulled up over her all the way. And she does look a little bit pale while the baby looks a little bit pink, orange almost. And so I'm thinking, I'm getting a lot of the sense of childbirth here. All right. You have a little bit of background story here. Title is Mother. But there's a bit of background story. It's a portrait. It is a portrait of this woman. Her name is Callista. And she is the wife of the artist Sorolla, Joaquin Sorolla. And this is a painting of her with their firstborn baby, Ella. So, a moment of, I guess, peace and enjoyment and love at something that now is part of your life. And I'm trying to think, I don't think we've got a lot of parents here, maybe a couple, of how you might connect to this scene if you're not a parent. How you can maybe think of other, of the other children that have come into your life. I think of maybe my niece. And I remember like sleeping with my niece as a little baby on my chest and noticing this little life beside me and just spending time observing her. That might be one way to do it. Or it could be from the perspective of the person who is there in the room too. You're observing this bond. And when have you had moments of observing a loving bond between two people? maybe especially between a mom and a child. Maybe you might start think about literary connections with this. For those of you who like Les Miserables, if you think of Fantine and Cosette, that might be one thing to think about, that kind of adoration. All right, so favorite detail for this painting? And if you have an alternative final title. And Molly, you're expanding upon the kind of moment, any connection with a feeling that something or someone precious to you is safe and near. Yeah, this is, I've never witnessed childbirth, and perhaps childbirth in the late 1800s when this would have taken place, 1895, was probably pretty gnarly, especially if it's, as Shan, you're saying, maybe a home birth. And so this is, everything feels now like it's done and happy. Oh, Shan, you have witnessed childbirth and it's wild. And Lennon, the vastness is unique to the painting. Yeah, it is. And Robert, you're present at the birth of your daughter, and it's all beautiful, 102%. Any particular details, any final details for this painting that you especially like? I think one detail that I like, the edge of the bed here. It looks like she's been tucked in. They're both tucked in and safe. Molly, have how much the mom's head sinks into the pillow. Oh, it does, doesn't it? And we're often worried about the baby rolling off. I'm hoping we're going to ask Sorolla, hey, Joaquin, Sorolla, can you paint a little bit more bed on that side? And Molly, she's so relaxed, supported. Okay. This is what it looks like in Sorolla's house. Narendra, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to just add a few more things. One more thing, rather, the vastness, the beauty, that the thing, the person being tucked. And I would agree with you, Travis, that somebody, or rather the artist, is looking at that scene with great love, and which is why he painted that. And he gives a feeling, I think, very brilliantly, of a room which is like a heaven, like a cloud and heavenly, and he's tucked the whole thing, and they're very safe, and yet it is heaven. That's his genius. And that tucking thing, when you start asking those questions, I realize that it is also vast, yet it's actually very brilliant. It's both vast. Somebody, I think Molly said that it's vast, yet there's a certain feeling of home or comfortable feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And the artist it is not home. You're right, like Travis. It cannot be home, because if you keep a home, they'll be like, you can't create it. So it is the childbirth, and I think it is a little after the childbirth. Mm-hmm. Because the mother is very happy, but she can't show her happiness. She's very tired. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. I think the painting, the very thought that you can create a room and make it a heaven and convey a childbirth feeling.
And one thing I'm curious about, Narendra, is what other post-childbirth paintings are out there, because not much comes to mind for me. Like there's a lot of Mary and Jesus, but those aren't post-childbirth. And so I'd be curious to find more moments like that and to see how they're depicted compared to this one. Landon, pride.
That's the word you've been missing.
Yeah. That's a great word.
And my title would be Heaven on Earth.
Heaven on Earth, Narendra. Gotcha. And then, Shannon, you have removing the one line of drywall changes the entire painting. Oh, let's see. Wait, what do you mean by that, Shannon? Over here?
Yeah, the drywall is what tells me what time period this takes place in, because drywall wasn't even invented until recently, right? So if you take that away, it really could be a cloud. It could be abstract. It could be anything.
Oh, okay. So because it gives the sense that there's a wall here, and it's not just a blank background. So that gives a sense of
Yeah.
the space that they're in. Oh,
Absolutely. Mhm.
yeah.
And the
I can
time
see that.
period too.
All right. So we're over time. This middle one was the one I was going to spend time with. Maybe I'll bring it back at another point in time. But
okay.
what's that? Oh,
Oh, sorry. I thought I was on mute. I said I'd love to stay longer.
well, you know what? We'll do more of these, but yeah, we're already at an hour and 10 minutes. And Robert, that flower on the ground tells all. Oh, Robert, it's so surprising. It's so surprising. Okay, you want to stick around for 10 more minutes? Anybody want to stick around 10 more minutes? If you
Yeah.
can. Okay, all right, let's do it. Okay. All right. If you need to go, thank you for coming. See you Sunday for Musée d'Orsay. All right, so let me stop the share real quick and go back to the setup for this. And what we can do is we can just do I'll show you the images, ask questions, and we could just do quick observations in the chat or as we go through and point some things out. All right, so we'll do this pretty quickly. Okay, so if I remember titles correctly, there was some that were thinking more repose, but most thinking maybe something heartbreak. And Robert, the first thing that you're noticing is the flower on the ground tells all. And then the basic question for any painting is, what exactly is she doing? What's happening here? What's she doing? So is she reading? Has she stopped reading? Is she focusing on her breathing? Is she thinking back to a memory? What kind of expression does she have? It doesn't seem particularly sad, but it doesn't seem happy either. Maybe there's a little bit of a furrow in the brow.
I call it defeated.
Maybe defeated. So, and then my follow-up question to you is, what do you see that makes you say defeated? And then I'll zoom out. And then
The slumping of the shoulders, the tilt of the head, the weakness of the arms.
oh man, yeah, there's a lot of slumping, there's a tilting, there's weakness of the arms. And you know what, as you're saying defeated, also one thing that's making me think is we've had a lot of different space, the vastness of the mist in the background, that cloud of love that's enveloping them in that room. And then here, there's this bleak, dark space, and she's pushed up against the wall. Okay, I'm reading in the chat here. Robert, you have imagining steeling herself against the anger of heartbreak or disappointment. And she is dressed in black. And Robert, I bet that's probably telling you maybe she's in mourning. And then the flower, do I have a close-up of the flower? Yeah. So where was that flower before? Was it in her hand? It's right behind her almost, like maybe she's dropped it. And maybe a gray hair. And maybe was it in the book, perhaps? Molly, you're feeling remorse from her. The sunken chin has a sort of resignation and sadness, as if she's just realizing her reading that she should feel something the opposite of pride. And Molly, I like the way you're making me recall the expression on the face of the mother by Callista, the Sorolla painting, where that's pride and this is the opposite. Robert, the broken petal suggests a flower may have been discarded with some force. Okay.
As in, it's not like directly dropped, at the line of her shoulders, right? It's like thrown backwards.
Thrown back. I see. Okay. So there's a violent gesture. Maybe that corresponds a little bit with the pout and the slightly furrowed brow. And is that the one little gray hair you're noticing there? Okay.
Do you have a close-up of the book?
I think this is as close as I've got it with these. Is there anything in particular
Okay.
that you're seeing?
Yeah,
that's-
I just wondered whether it was really a book or whether it could be a journal or what
Okay.
exactly.
That's a good question. And I don't know that there is enough detail. It looks like even the hands look like there isn't much detail to them. My quick thought is it's a book, but it could be a diary
Or a Bible.
or a Bible. And it would go along with what Molly's saying about there's something that she's read in there that's made her. Molly, you're thinking too thin for a Bible. Landon, you don't know your Bible well enough.
New Testament. All right.
Okay. And there's a bookmark ribbon right here. Okay, maybe I did need a close-up of the book. And then Shannon got the flower looks fresh. She's grieving something is it a former lover or someone else? Okay, so to sum up, she just got to the end of a novel, the Ayn Rand's We the Living. Spoiler warning. Oh, so this is like when you get to a novel that's got a like tragic ending. Oh man, okay. So to sum up, Anurendra, go ahead.
Just want to add and to one small thing that flower could be the love, but I just want to say a few words on the expression. The expression is clearly what you said was very striking, that she's not sad or happy. Like if you notice her expression, she's like trying to be not trying to be strong. She is strong, and that's why it's not sad. She's strong, and she says, "Okay, now I have to handle this," and then she's doing it. Like,
So it's really intriguing that you're describing her as strong, because I see that in her face, but we've also described the rest of her body as kind of
yes
lacking and weak, and so I'm wondering if it's actually she's tense rather than slumping.
Yeah, my answer to that is her obviously her state is very weak, and she is strong. That is the whole point there. Her state right now is very weak, and that suggestion of
Narendra, I'm not ignoring you. I'm trying to take the pose to get a feel of what she's doing. So you're saying that the circumstances of the state that she's in would suggest that this is a moment of where she being weak would be normal, but here she is, from her shoulders are drawn in, and her, so there's something she's gathering strength within herself, maybe.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Rob,
that.
okay, let's see.
All of her strength, she's gathering all of her strength. There could have been a little violence before this.
Okay.
So it's over. And now she has to get back to normal, something like that.
I see.
So that makes it a very beautiful painting. Like there's a whole darkness, but somebody fighting. So the title could be Get Back, to get back.
To get back. Thanks, Narendra. And then Robert, I see you have resolute.
Yeah.
And then Rob said the couch is black too, which adds to the mood. And the flower is such a contrast to it. Shannon, close suggests grieving, but the expression suggests that she's distracted with something else right now besides the grieving, or she's trying to do that. Head is down, but eyes are not down. Eyes are not down. Oh, you're right. The eyes are not down. It's true. They seem focused, don't they?
Yeah. Wow.
And Molly, the eyebrows are angry. Amy, you're thinking betrayed. Landon, defeated but not broken. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. You ready for a little bit of background story here? So wait, just to sum up, what we have is a figure who looks like they might be in mourning, have just done something kind of violent, thrown a flower on the ground. Maybe they read something in this book. Maybe it's a lover. Maybe that's betrayed them or died or something. But in this moment, the way that they're reacting is they're trying to come to grips with it, trying to be resolute. Whatever harsh circumstance that she's in, experiencing by herself in the corner of this room on this black little divan thing. defeated but not broken. And Shannon, you've got, she discovered in the journal that her late husband was unfaithful before he passed. Ooh, okay.
An amazing story. That
Ah,
is an amazing story.
all right,
Wow.
all right, all right. Well, this is this. When I'm looking at portraits, this is a portrait. There's no background story that's like from a novel, but I take the life of the sitter as the background story. Now, the sitter here is a friend of the artist. The artist is Winslow Homer. Winslow Homer is an artist you might have heard of. This is one of the paintings he did that's in the Stories in Paint. He did the one of the boat rescue that I showed earlier. So he does a lot of these like men facing nature things. And here he has her. Now, this is a lifelong friend of his that rumor has it that this was the love of his life. Ella, no, what's her name? Oh, I forgot her name. I'll find her name. This was rumored to be the love of his life. And this is the painting that he gave her as a gift for her wedding to someone else. Okay, I wish I could hear the, I see some looks there.
Wow.
God.
Say wow.
This made my day, broke my day. Oh my. Oh my. This is a story in itself, luck, Travis.
All right, so
Wow.
okay, so yeah, Molly, you're thinking this is the message. This is this is where you're going to go with marriage. Oh, that's what.
No, but what? She was in love with him or what?
Well, apparently not. I don't know the rest of the story.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll find you. Let me pull up the name. So if you want to do your own Googling on this,
Yeah, I'll do that. I want to do that.
her name
I want
is
to know
Helena
what happened
Kay.
to them.
Helena Kay. Helena Kay. And the artist is Winslow Homer. I'm putting that in the chat. So if you do some searching and you find more. And Robert, this is the note that's accompanying this painting, or the subtext of it, at least. Congratulations, by the way, you're going to be miserable. That you married someone beside me might not be the most gracious sentiment one could express. Yeah. And Molly, so the flower is her rejection
Maybe
of
to think
Homer's love.
positively, it was simply an expression of what she must be feeling because she was forced or something was there.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was really true.
So
Who knows?
I'm gonna take this as maybe the most gracious understanding of this might be, I view you as somebody who has the resolve to take on any kind of obstacles you face. But this is such a private, intimate moment. This is not a painting of her like on a sailboat enjoying the wind. It's not a painting of her at a sorority function, or I don't know what, a ball or whatever it is. This is a painting of her in a private moment, contemplating whatever anguish or grief or frustration that she's feeling right now. It's a kind of bond that he has with her if she's a good friend. So maybe there is, it could be red, and maybe the husband was like, what's going on in here? But perhaps it was something that was a little bit less antagonistic. I don't know. I'm reading the chat now. Yeah, Lane, I wonder how it went over in the wedding. It's not that one of the girl in the breeze on the hill in the Stories in Paint. Oh, that's a good comparison. And then Robert, you have wait, Robert, I'm not going to sing it, but if you want to sing it, don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me? Feel free to jump in and sing, because I need singing. Don't you want me? Oh, I can't even do it. Oh man. Yeah. Don't ask me to sing at your wedding.
I wonder if she was working as a waitress at the cocktail bar.
Yeah, okay, okay. She's not going 5 minutes with Rocky here. She's vulnerable. Oh. Okay, and Maliev, is Homer hoping her husband dies and that she's left a widow? I do have a biography of Winslow Homer that I need to take a look at. So maybe there'll be a post-mortem. Pun not intended, but maybe appropriate. All right. So we spent time with 3 intriguing paintings. Can I get your quick, which one of the 3 did you like best? I'm curious about that. Which one of the 3 do you like best? 1, 2, or 3?
3.
Okay. All right, Narendra, got you for 3. And Molly can't choose. Shannon 3, Peter 1, Robert 3. And then Molly, you're saying the boat is Winslow Homer? Yeah, yeah. While the husband and wife are up in the little skiff that's over there. Shannon, you like 2. Amy, you like 3. Pooja, you like 3. And Landon, you like 2. Okay. So I'm going to wrap this up.
Travers, thank you so much. You made
Narendra, thanks for joining. Thanks for
you
joining.
made my week, and you gave us 3 beautiful paintings. I don't know how to thank you.
Great. If you want to pay me money, please feel free to.
I'll do that.
It will
I should do that.
And then there'll be a new artwork on the app this weekend. So
Maybe on 5th, maybe I can. Yeah.
yeah. And then there's another salon on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And wherever you are. Thank you to everybody who joined. And thanks for going like an hour and a half with me.
Here. Thank you to everybody here.
Thanks, Luke.
All right. Bye-bye.
Back to Michigan
Bye-bye.
soon.
Yeah, thank you. I really enjoyed the
Hi,
discussion.
Robert, Amy, Molly, Pete,
Insight.
Yeah. What's that, Molly?
and
I
Shannon.
enjoyed the discussion. I really appreciated everyone's insights. It's really a
Yeah.
great job.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye,
Same
everybody.
here.
Bye.
Same here. Bye.